ibang tulong. So those are the three important signs that the residents should remember, and they don't need to wait for warning from PBOX or local government. Basta po meron na silang nakita, naranasan, or naramdaman, narinig ng mga senyales, they should immediately evacuate to higher ground.
Ay, Sir Calgordano po kami. Sir, one thing lower pa rin po ba? That the really shot na 7.4 o around 96.4 ang inaasahan ng pinakamalakas na aftershock na pwede lumama at maramdaman mo.
Yes, ganun yung maximum na aftershock na pwede nating asahan would be just 5.
Got a great business idea? Give it a domain name from GoDaddy. Every order comes with our effortless AI experience, GoDaddy Aero, which will generate a logo, landing page, and more for you in just a few clicks. With our award-winning support, it couldn't be easier to start an online business with us, which is why we're trusted by more than 20 million customers. Unlock your online potential today with GoDaddy.
Gusto po nilang malaman yung mga locations po ng mga major falls.
Okay, sige. Location ng mga major falls, actually, if you're interested, you can search this one sa Hazard PH. Hindi lang ang falls natin, also mga hazards associated with earthquakes. We also have volcano-related hazards, as well as hydromet hazards na nanggaling pa yung mapa, nanggaling from MGB and Pagasa. So again, if you're interested to know the location of the active falls, it's available online. And also, yung tama kayo, yung source ng Mindoro kanina would be the Philippine Trench and yung yung PT5. And then yung location niya would be yung epicenter. Epicenter natin. Okay, so it's 43 kilometers east of Manay in the Oriental. So yun po yung epicenter ng Mindoro kanina. Yung location ng Mindoro.
Yung when we lower the tsunami warning, does this mean that we can bumalik yung mga rewards evacuation because of the tsunami warning?
Yes, pwede naman. Again, there could be yung mga residual sea level oscillation. So, hindi, pwede na bumalik, but then they have to watch out for, like, sea level oscillations.
Right? Example na po sa binigay mo na yung stress factor. So, important to the public kasi yung ibang connect yung buo before dito sa village na Manila or stretch na po sa earthquake.
Okay, so we have multiple stress transfer. So when most it releases stress, and the stress will be transferred to in nearby. The word here is to a nearby active fault. So nangyari ito noong October 2019 because of the earthquake. Series natin, we have more than 4 magnitude 6 and above earthquakes in 1 month, in the span of 1 month. Kasi yung location ng mga fault segments natin doon, masyadong malapit, just beside the American Park. So yung stress na was triggered, was released by one fault segment was absorbed by the next, and then also it induced an earthquake for that segment. And that's what we call stress transfer. So maganda na analogy yan, kapag pinagdagalan ako ng misis ko, so na-stress ako, so pagdating ko sa office ko, kapag nililito rin ang office mate ko. So that's what we call stress transfer.
Ito po nangyayari sa Manila Oriental sa Bucor City and sa Baguio City is kasama sa aking pagkakita natin.
Yun sa Manay, nalalim po yan sa Philippine Trench. Yung sa Bobo City, ang nag-generate po yan would be the Bobo Big Fault. And then yung sa Baguio, most likely it's the Philippine Fault that generate that event.
Kung ano po ito, Dok, ibig sabihin may makasunod na
Not necessarily, hindi naman sabihin na dahil magalaw ko, kadagalaw din yung mata. Again, yung sinasabi na natin na stress transfer will be just for poles that are very close to each other. And hindi mo sila to move, just that na-trigger sila by the release of the stress from one pole and then na-absorb nila.
Kung sa nangyari sa dalawa ulit, pagkakaroon sa sa 724, gaano palawak yung aftershock na mangyayari at ilang lugar yung susipong na makakapagod na nalalaman yung susipong na mga aftershocks.
Okay, so yung aftershocks natin was felt as far as Roa City in Tamis. That's more than 500 kilometers. It was felt as far as South naman, John Santos City at around 210 kilometers. And sa Zamboanga City, 540 kilometers. So yun po yung lawak ng aftershocks na record po natin. That's not surprising kasi yung sa Bobo Big Fault na earthquake, it was felt as far as the Bobo del Sur, which is more than 400 kilometers away.
Ibig sabihin yung mga natamaan ng aftershocks kasi malaki yung mga aftershocks. Kailangan magandang
Dito sa mga malalayong lugar, ay mahirap mo yun I was referring to the density, not the aftershocks. So the aftershock would converge around the main shock. So yung nabanggit ko naman kanina, yung sa Zamboanga, yung Cotabato, yung Capiz, yun yung saan nakaramdam nung shaking. But for the aftershock, it would converge around the main shock.
Bago po yan sa Glenn, reiterate ko lang po yung mga messages mo. Yung stress transfer po ay nangyayari lang po yan sa mga calls na classified as active and they are on the verge or right na po.
Yes, that's right.
These calls, they have to be geographically close to each other. Kasi po sa Cebu, matitigil yung bago po yan sa Glenn po sa kanila po. That was the earthquake felt in Baguio. So yun po yung kapaligiran na doon. And then, yung aftershocks ay nangyayari po around yun. Alam mo, difference, marami na talagang hindi doon dyan. Pero kung nakita ko, and they are located close to the epicenter of the main shock, they are classified as the aftershocks of the event. And kailangan mo, ang magnitude nila ay hindi po tataas sa 6.4. Kasi kung tumaas na po yung sa 6.1, ibang event na po yun. We consider that as a different event. Okay? Yes, sir.
Sir, explain naman what's the difference between the old time and active event?
Okay, so yung po natin sir, fracture rate sa crack that would dislocate ng ating mga bato. Yung reference naman, yung seafloor natin, bumigit-git, mapakailalim. We have this, the line doon sa dagat natin, bumigit-git yung seafloor natin doon sa cement. And as a result, pagigit-git niya, nagkakaroon ng friction, and then once the friction is released, yun yung nagkakaroon ng pagigit-git.
Wala sir, difference between mas different ang nagagalaw. Wala yung mga
Kapag generally, mga challenges natin are capable of generating big earthquakes. Big earthquakes are earthquakes bigger than 80. Yung mga faults naman natin, yung mga magnitude na pwede niya i-generate would be based on its length. So the longer the fault, the higher the magnitude it would be able to generate.
Sir, based on your observation, dito sa mga nalabas ng video, social media, yun yung behavior or yung reaction ng mga nalilito ay sa tingin ay nagre-reflect kung ano yung natutunan natin, sir, by behavior or kulang na tayo.
Okay, may mga, well, there's still a room for improvement, pero may mga positive na dahil na nakiladaman tayong, nabigay ko yung nalawa ng earthquake doon sa Bobo earthquake, may nakilala yung mga bata na nasa hospital niya. nagtako or ano, although you might want to ask kami na nagawa nila sa computer shop at 10 o'clock in the evening. But of course, that's beside the point. May mga addons din tayo na panic tatagawa during the shaking, which is hindi natin recommend. Kasi po, kapatatan mo ba during the shake, makakapwede kang matulog, and then yung nasa likod mo, madadagan na ba kasi matumba. Doon naman sa earthquake yesterday sa La Union, may nakita tayo ng mga isang high school students na nadarako and all. And they, after the shaking, lumabas sila kalamado. So, ito yung nakakapagkaya sa akin ng stress to do more kasi nagkata namin yung effect. So, but again, there's a lot of room for improvement.
Thank you for your answer. So, you just follow that. So, sabi nila that leader and another this morning, you just follow me fall, and it's a different coverage at the bench offshore, where nasa dagat. Pero may fall sa rin, na nasa dagat at kagulang mga fall. Tapos, ang hinidol ko, nandaan mo, or makakilod na hinidol, lakas na hinidol, depende po yan sa haba ng fall o trench ng lumalaw. The longer the fall,
bigger the magnitude.
Generally po, so since mahaba po ang mga trench of natin, we expect them to generate higher value for the earthquake. Pero since nandito sila na sa dagat, pagdating po ng enerhiya sa lupa, medyo mas maganda siya. Compared po sa po, nasa lupa, nandun yung mga tao, although hindi na lang yung magnitude ng earthquake, ay malalakas pa po, lalo na mga shallow earthquakes, malalakas pa rin po siyang nararamdaman. Tapos maganda po yung talagang sir, alam na po ba ang preparedness na ginagawa natin, mga tabako po. It's a good start, but the preparedness is okay yung hindi, no? Hindi mo yung message namin dito, na araw-araw na natin siya ginagawa. And then also na ang hinidol ko ay hindi ko nakakamatay. Ang nakakamatay ko ay pagbubuhan ng mga gusali. So, we want to encourage the local government, the concerned government agencies, and even the private sector, individuals, to make sure that we follow codes or standards na building construction. Meron na po tayo niya. So, yun po yung alam na natin sinasabi. Structural integrity po ng mga buildings ang sasagot po sa zero casualty or minimal po na impact sa earthquake.
So, sila naman na hindi na nakakapat na natin sa
Yeah, October 2019, it was a battle. Okay, so itong ganito, I think it only happened in 2019 na sunod-sunod yung malalaking dulo natin in a span of 1 month, in almost on the same area. But every year naman we record, annually we record more than 12,000 earthquakes. So, yun yung yung ngayon na sunod. Okay. Then, as I mentioned, coincidence lang po kasi as I mentioned, we have several active faults and we also have several trenches, and there's always a possibility na pwede silang sabay-sabay na manaw.
Balikan ko lang po yung Zoom, no? Dami na natin matanggal na ikuan. So, may question po dito si Sir Ed, na Citizen Forum. Paano ba natin ikukumpara ang lakas ng lindol na nararamdaman sa sporting sa Davao? Compare po dun sa naging lindol sa Pilipinas sa September 30.
Okay, so yung Mag 6.9 of course is much lower than the Mag 7.4. But it's just that yung mas destructive yung Mag 6.9, one, it's shallow earthquake, and yung fault mismo transects populated areas. Dito naman, it's Mag 7.4, but it's offshore Kasagatan, and then it's deeper than the Bogobiri fault earthquake. It's 23 kilometers. And ang nangyari kasi niyan, yung seismic energy na as it travels from the source to the surface, nag-diffuse yung energy weekends. So, say for instance, Mag 6.9 and 23 kilometers. Sabihin na natin 6.9 yung nangyari sa Davao and 23 kilometers. So, as it travels from the source up to the surface, humina na siya. Now, if it's 5 kilometers from the source to the surface, pagdating niya sa Davao, since shortening yung distance na nalagan sa seismic energy natin, malalas na rin siya pagdating sa Davao.
We have special user related to monitoring, meaning we can ask the Dr. Michelle to join the academy to answer the question.
Kasi,
No further questions? Are you guys? Good afternoon, sir. Ang katanungan ko ng ating kasamahan
Sorry, Miss Charm, nag-echo, hindi ko nadinig ang tanong.
We understand that predicting the exact timing of an earthquake is possible. However, what is the single biggest technological upgrade, be it advanced sensors, geodesy, or AI-driven pattern analysis, that the people believes would most significantly enhance our long-term forecasting capabilities? And what specific funding or international partnership is currently needed to offer? Ano pa, short ko, sa mga technological advancements na possible, ano po ang pinaka-makakatulong sa atin upang ma-improve ang ating earthquake monitoring? And then what are the partners that we can collaborate with to do this?
Okay. Sa ngayon po, sa instrumento muna natin, ang ating pong instrumento ay world class. So, ibig sabihin po, mga modernong instrumento na po ang ating ginagamit. So, kung ano ginagamit sa US at Japan, meron din po tayo dyan. And patuloy po ang pag-expand ng ating mga monitoring instruments. Sa tulong, maganda po yung support ng ating pong sa gobyerno, and nandiyan din po yung ating modernization law. So, in the next few years po, palalawakin po natin ang ating mga monitoring stations para po makapagbigay lalo ng isang accurate at mabilis na impormasyon related po sa lindol at tsunami. Isa pa po doon, marami po tayong mga kasama ngayon na nasa ibang bansa, nag-aaral po sila para po masilingin pa ang kanilang kaalaman tungkol po sa lindol at mga tsunami. So makakasa po kayo na patuloy po ang pagpunlad ng pagpapa-modernize po ng ating pong mga kagamitan at ganoon din po sa ating mga kasamahan sa hanap buhay.
Thank you, Dr. Michelle. Isa ka pang tanong ko kung muna na-aalis related din po sa instrumentation and earthquake monitoring operations, no? Regarding causes, speed, and repetition of earthquake location, given that we see that earthquakes often cause significant damages, what is the feasibility and estimated cost of deploying seismic sensors?
Say goodbye to Slack because chat's here and it's inside ClickUp. Everything you need in chat is here. Like DMs and even your channels. But there's a ton more you can do. Chat conversations can lead to so many new ideas. And now you can turn those ideas into action with just a couple of clicks. Any chat message can be turned into a task like magic. Simply select the message you want to turn context in the conversation. Check it out.
Instrumento na mga boreholes, pero konti pa po yan. Ang maganda po dito ay patuloy pa po natin itong dadagdagan. Ang advantage lang po ng borehole ay mas nababawasan po yung ingay na naidudulot ng mga activities sa taas, sa surface. Nakaka-apekto po kasi sa records natin yung mga activity, yung mga human activities like yung mga transportations, ganyan. Kaya po karamihan ng mga instrumento natin nasa yung mga sinasabi natin matahimik na lugar. Pero pagka po kasi borehole, ang maitutulong po niya, nababawasan yung ingay, mas maganda po yung signal o yung quality ng data na kukuha natin. With regards naman po sa instrumento na ilalagay natin sa dagat, medyo may kamahalan po ito, lalo na sa pag-i-install at pag-maintenance. So mahal po yan, pwede po umabot ng millions of dollars. Pero po, ang ginagawa po natin sa ngayon ay may mga mag-i-install po tayo ng mga instrumento as much as possible malapit po sa mga dagat. So at least pagka po nagkaroon tulad po ng nangyari ngayon sa earthquake natin, kung mas malapit po natin sa dagat, mailagay yung instrumento, so mas madali po nilang madedetect yung signal mula po dito sa lindol. So marami po tayong ilalagay po mga instrumento at ganoon din po yung tinatawag nating sea-level monitoring stations. So yan po yung makakatulong po sa atin sa pag-monitor, lalong-lalo na kung mga earthquakes ay manggagaling sa mga trenches na nakapaligid po sa ating bansa.
Thank you, Dr. Sevilla. So, ang sinasabi lang po namin ay ang instrumento po ng PBOX for earthquake monitoring and summary po natin po yung monitoring at PAR. So, advanced technology, same with what other nations and countries have. Tama po ba yun, Director Bolo?
Yes, that's right. But again, this is still not enough. Again, for the size of the Philippines, pinagawa ko na yun, they have 125 seismic stations. But for the size of the Philippines, should be around 300. Taiwan, which is 1/10 the size of the Philippines, has around 209 seismic stations. And every year, nadadagdagan ng apat yung seismic stations natin. So, 300 minus 125, that would be 175. And if you divide that by 4, that would take more than 40 years for us to be able to complete the ideal number of seismic stations. Good thing is that we have the People's Modernization, which was signed middle of this year by our President. And instead of waiting for 40 years, for us to be able to complete the ideal number of seismic stations, we will do it in the next 5 years.
So, we really call for funding para sa mga science agencies natin.
Okay, so
Improve our information that we give to the
that's right. And part of, that would be answered by the People's Modernization.
Salamat po, Director Bacolod. Meron lang po parang dito sa ating Zoom. Is Dr. Vicky Sola ng Head ng DRH, the po, be affected against the movement of the Philippine interest. So, pag-ulit ko na po, ang Rudy, hindi po, they are independent earthquake generators. And then, meron po pong tanong dito, it's around 140 na po, ano na po ang update natin sa lifting ng tsunami warning natin.
Okay, so supposedly, nakalift na siya. So siguro yung mga kasama natin doon sa data distribution right now, busy man. I think they already prepared the cancellation of the early warning. So, baka nalito na, kasi nandito ako ngayon, so hindi ko alam. But I'm sure, since yung SOP natin is 2 hours after, i-delete na nila.
So, let's assure po, pag available naman po yan, send namin yan as soon as possible by our Facebook page, our X. So, make sure kayo po ay followers ng aming mga social media accounts and po, of course, sa website ng people, meron din po yan. Please, have questions from yes,
Ano mahaba na po? May information kung nakakahaba.
Yung mahaba yung dito, ay duration, yung nakahawa kanina, yung may stop line sa field, umabot ng 25 seconds, yung shaking. So, yun yung report niya sa atin, 25 seconds. Pero may sabi naman na more than 30 seconds yung shaking na naramdaman namin.
Hindi po pare-pareho yan. Depende yan sa lugar. Kung malambot ang no? Kumatagal po yung shaking. Kung matigas yung bato, yan, mabilis lang po dumadaan sa sleep mo. Yan, mabilis lang yung mararamdaman ng brushing. Okay. Any more questions?
Mrs. Santos from this zone. Director, medyo tingin 7.4 sa 7.2 na big one, dito sa 7 na. Sa tingin niyo ba, ano ba counter? Pagkarana, pamamahan yung mga kababayan natin, paghahanda. Kasi susunod po Baguio tapos sa
Okay, so kailangan talaga natin maghanda. Again, for the Max 7.2, it can happen anytime. Usually the time na we're right for the big one kasi nga based sa pag-aaral natin, it will happen every 400 to 600 years. And the last time it moved was in 1658. Now, if we take the lower boundary, which is 400 years, that would be 1658 plus 400 years, that would be 2058. So, of course, it will not happen by 2058. It will not by 2058. It could be earlier, or it could be later, or it could even be on the upper boundary, which is 600 years. And if you consider the upper boundary, that would be 200 years from now. So, we have to assume that it will happen. Kasi kung mag-isapan, iisip na lang ako, matagal pa naman yan, it will happen in the upper boundary. What if it will happen to the lower boundary, which is anytime soon? So, we really have to prepare for it. And one of the preparedness na pwede natin magawa is make sure that pag magpapawala ng bahay, we follow the minimum engineering standards, we follow the building code. Kasi kahit ma-perfect pa natin yung duct over and home, kung mag-duct over and home tayo sa bahay na hindi naman structurally sound, magkulaps pa rin yung bahay. So, hindi pa rin effective yung duct over and home. So, duct over and home will only protect you from all the debris. Yung mga aparato na hindi nakapix walls or yung mga, for example, chandelier. But, ang sabi doon is hindi magkulaps yung bahay. So, first and foremost, you have to make sure that you follow the building code, you follow the minimum hygiene standards.
Thank you, Dr. Ramon. So, since pinag-uusapan na rin po natin ang awareness, I would like to take this opportunity to promote our activity, the World Tsunami Awareness Day. This is the UN declaration that every November 5, we observe the World Tsunami Awareness Day. So, ang gagawin ko lang dito, sa October 25, alam ko, October 25, magkakaroon po ng Tsunami Run for Safety. Isang run, isang advocacy run, na gaganapin po sa Bigan City. So, inaanyayahan po namin kayo sumali, inaanyayahan po namin kayo i-promote yung activity na yun. Bukod po doon, we have the 4th quarter nationwide simultaneous earthquake drill or NSED na sinasagawa ko sa pangunguna ng Office of Civil Defense. Ito naman po ay gagawin sa November 6 sa Santa Catalina sa Ilocos School. So, ganun din po, katulad ng ginawa sa 3rd quarter, dito po sa Ibigyan ng mga bayani, dinala po natin ang 4th quarter NSED with the component of tsunami or tsunami preparedness scenario doon po sa Santa Catalina, Ilocos School. Okay, mainit-init po, nabalita.
Okay, so nag-issue na po tayo ng canceling ng tsunami warning. Okay, so nakalagay dito, a major earthquake occurred in Manay, Davao Oriental on October 10, 2025 at 9:40 a.m. Philippine Standard Time with a depth of 23 kilometers and magnitude 7.4. The DSTP was issued tsunami warning for all coastal communities in the provinces of Davao Oriental, Dinagat Islands, Surigao del Norte, Surigao del Sur, Leyte, Southern Leyte, and Eastern Samar, recommending immediate evacuation in these areas. And that Surigao del Sur level monitoring station for tsunami detection has recorded a tsunami wave height of around 30 centimeters at 10:20 a.m. With this, any effects due to the tsunami warning have largely passed, and therefore the DSTP has now cancelled all tsunami warnings issued for this event. So this will be the final tsunami information issued for this event.
Thank you, Dr. Ramon. Ang kopya po ng aming...
Cancel at 1:43 p.m.
Ang kopya po ng cancellation of tsunami warning ay matatagpuan niyo po sa website ng PICO, sa social media, at ipapadala po namin ito sa share namin ito sa ating partner. We have one more question, sir.
Okay, sige. Wala.
Sige, sir, babalikan namin kayo dyan. Hindi lang.
Okay, bibilangin pa lang namin.
Lahat